Hey guys, Stan here from Rocky Creek. Hope everybody's been good. We've been gone for a little bit. The last 3 weeks have just been super crazy and exhausting. So let's talk about everything. So guys, those of y'all that follow us on a lot of our social media outlets, I had actually shared with you all about how busy personal lives have been. I talked previously, I believe, in a video about how my city that I work at as a police officer, they host a 2-week event that requires a lot of manpower. We average anywhere from 30 to 40 officers working there at that event because of the risks of things that go on at it. And lo and behold, I was only supposed to work 5 of the days during those 2 weeks in addition to my normal work. And well, the first day of that event, we actually had a pretty big situation that went down, which in turns made a lot more people have to work it. And I ended up picking up extra days. And we went out of town for a week right after that. So let's just say Homestead content for YouTube was not on the top of the priority list. Managing the homestead and getting through day-to-day life was the priority. But we are now done with it all. We are back from going out of town on our family vacation, which that in and of itself, with little man at 1 year old who is wide open, that wasn't much of a vacation for Mrs. Rocky Creek and I. That was more of a vacation just for the kids. But we're back. There's been some stuff going on, but I thought today I would share that there was some preparations that went into us going out of town and during this busy time to make it simple for those that cared for our animals while we were gone. And I was going to share with you some of that planning and how that was effective and made it much easier on them. So let me show you what I do when we go out of town, because I haven't really changed much of it since I got back, and I want to show you that. Mater, what are you doing, brother? Oh, what's up, Mater? How you doing, May? Good to see you, brother. Miss Olivia, how are you? Good to see ya. Be nice if you end up having babies. I don't know what y'all are waiting on. I think you're the problem, Mater. I think you're too lazy. So guys, the people who took care of my animals are the ones that I took care of their animals about 3 weeks ago on a video, which that'll be posted up right here if you haven't seen it, where we went and took care of their farm while they were out of town. Now they live just a few miles away from us, so it works out really good. We'll schedule our vacations opposite of them. We take care of their animals while they're gone, and they in turn take care of ours. It's a win-win. So if you don't already have that set up, number one I would say is reach out to area farmers or friends and try to line up somebody well in advance, and you might need to adjust your vacation around when they're going on their vacation to make sure you got good help while you're gone. But with that being said, they have Juliana pigs. They do not have Kune pigs. So I had to make some adjustments to the Kune pigs to simplify it for them and my day-to-day routine, because although they are very docile, Mater does have tusks, and Mater is very strong. And Mater is known to kind of rub up on you with the side of his face, and I don't want them to run a risk of unnecessary harm from Mater, who isn't intentionally doing it. So I wanted it to be to where they didn't have to enter the pen as little as possible. So they have since broke them off, but something that I did do while we were gone, which they lasted, one bowl was still attached when I returned, but one bowl came loose, which I'm guessing it must have been towards the latter end. But you may be able to see very closely right there, and again right here. What those are is I had run zip ties, strong zip ties through the bowl this way, hooked it through and zip tied it to the metal here and here. That kept the bowl right here up against the fence, and I spaced it out plenty far, so I did like one was about here and one was about where that post was, and that would allow the person taking care of the animals just to scoop the feed and pour it right over top and never have to go inside the pen. They never said anything to me about having an issue, and even though the one was broke off, it was right here at the fence line, which usually it takes several days of the pigs pushing them away to get hard to get to them from just reaching over. So my guess is that it waited till right towards the end before that one finally broke loose. And like I said, one of them was still attached when I got here. And then in terms of the water, I ran the hose all the way over here, left this here, so all that they had to do, which this thing has plenty of pressure, is they just had to spray the hose to be able to fill up both their water dish and their pool right over there. And then of course I have their feed right here ready to go, and I showed them exactly on the feed scoop where to bring it up to, so that made it easy for them. So for somebody who doesn't know anything about animals, if they had to come and take care of my pigs, it's quite simple. Just fill the scoop up to where it's been pre-marked, dump it in a bowl, grab a hose, fill up the water bowl. Done. So that's what we did for the pigs. Now, honestly, in my opinion, the more maintenance issue on our farm in terms of our animals is going to be our chickens, because you got to let them out early in the morning. They tend to go through their water at least once a day, and then you have to feed them constantly, and you got to collect eggs and come back at nighttime to close them up. So I make some modifications to their feed and their water, and there's mama deer and her baby deer. Thought I heard something. But so I make some adjustments in the chicken coop outside of an automatic opener to the coop. That's the only thing I can't control. So they still got to come morning and night and close them up. But the way I set up the waters in the feed, they only had to feed once a day, and she did not have to put water into their water until one day before we returned. So let me show you. Q-Tip, why are you hollering? Huh? Q-Tip, Q-Tip. Does that mean stranger danger? You've been living with me for a couple years now. I don't think I'm a stranger anymore. So number one thing I did, guys, is I cleaned out their coop and put fresh bedding in there. So it was good to go, and it would be plenty fine for whatever soiling happened to it while we were gone, so they didn't have to worry about that. Secondly, I brought in a second feed dish so they could put more feed in it in the mornings, which would get them through all day without worrying about feed. So they only had to feed just in the morning, right before they let them all out. But then the big change was the waterers. I told y'all before, I love these cup styles from Rent-A-Coop Poultry. Rent-A-Coop, hands down, has the best cup watering system, and I've done plenty of videos on that, and I got more information coming to you about Rent-A-Coop. But these were the waters that I used for the meat chickens, and since I processed them, I was able to bring these and add these to it, which this right here is almost 8 gallons of water for my chickens, which lasts plenty long. You can see how easy and how deep she can put her beak down in there and get plenty of water versus those other cups where they got to keep hitting the plunger. But in addition to these two waters, I then have these two waters that I filled up as well, which these were like their normal standard waters when I didn't have the other ones available. So the two that she opted to fill up though was these two, because I had a garden hose run to here as well. She just had to flip it open, spray the hose in, pop the top off, spray the hose in, and they were good to go. Instead of messing with these ones where you got to unscrew them, rescrew them, and bring them back in and get the dirt out. So essentially, clean out the coop, ran a hose to here so they have water readily available if they needed it. I doubled the amount of waters that I had in here and used large waters with cup style, which worked out great. And I added a second feed bowl. By doing that, she really just had to come in the morning, add feed, let the chickens out. Come back at night, close the chickens up. That was it. The very last day during the week while we were gone, she did end up adding water to the two big waters that had the poultry cups. But even then, she said there was a little bit left, but she wanted to make sure that they were good and topped off before I got home. So we got almost a week's worth out of how we had this set up right here with very little work from them. Now in terms of the rabbits, this was pretty simple. It's no different than any other week. I just topped off their waters completely the morning that we left, and I filled up their feeders all the way as well, so that way they had plenty of feed. Now, the way my rabbits are set up based off availability, each of the feeders are different sizes. So Scotty's down here has the biggest feeder. His pretty much got him through the week. But these two ladies, their feed did have to be topped off by the end of the week, and I do believe she ended up having to fill the waters up once throughout the week, if not twice. The only thing in addition that I could have done for the rabbits is I could have put a second water bottle on each of their cages. The only reason why I hesitate to do that with them is that it's been so hot and those cages are pretty small that I didn't want the water to get so hot. And so at least by just running the one, it does get changed out a little bit more. And the rabbits are really the easiest thing to do. So that wasn't a big deal. Now in terms, one of the bigger things too is they have chickens. They don't need eggs. So to make it simple for them on where to put the eggs, which is something that I got from Rent-A-Coop as well recently, and I really enjoy it, is this egg collapsible basket. I love it. Let me show you what I got. So this is the Rent-A-Coop collapsible egg crate, I guess you want to call it. And I actually really like this. So it's pretty slick. I just run, instead of having all the eggs piled up in a basket and then trying to get them all out after that, is I just bring them and set them in on these trays. And then once one gets filled up, I just come back with another tray and boom, I can start running the eggs right there. And it comes all the way up, and it came with all these trays. It holds a ton of eggs, way more than I'll ever need. And then carrying this whole crate in to clean them up and package them has been way easier than trying to manage the basket and whatever random containers I could put them in. So basically when they came, they did a big loop. They did the pigs over there, they came here to the chickens, they came here to the rabbits, and then they brought the eggs and put them in here, and then they in turn got into their vehicle and they were able to head out from right here. On average, the person taking care of my property could come and care for my animals in about 15 minutes, 20 minutes at most in the mornings with no issues. And the biggest reason why the evening took a little bit longer is because where it's been so hot, the pigs would typically have worn the water out of their pools, and so she would refill up their pools at night, which takes several minutes to do so. But it was better to do it at night because then the water can get cool throughout the night and it's ready to go in the morning, and they don't have to worry about just standing there first thing in the morning. So that's much of the preparations that I did in terms of my animals to make it simple for people to care for them. Because the thing is that if you want people who do good to consistently want to be willing to come and care for your animals, whether it's for a day or for a week, you got to make it as easy on them as possible while still giving good care to your animals. And I'm very thankful and grateful that I have somebody close by who has some animal experience and that I have full confidence is going to take great care of my animals. Because just as I think the same about my dog, I think the same about with these guys, and I want them to have the greatest care while we're gone, which in turn lets me enjoy my vacation a little more because I'm relaxed and confident. So guys, I hope this little bit of information today on preparations that we did before we went out of town may help you if you are in the same situation and you're thinking about how are you going to go on vacation doing a homestead lifestyle, or what do you need to do in preparations for going on vacation. So number one, yes, you can go on vacation. Number two though, you got to plan for it and you got to have somebody lined up, and you need to make it as easy for them as possible so that way they're confident and capable of doing so while you're away. So guys, I hope this helped y'all out. I really appreciate you coming along with us today. I'm hoping that I can get back on track here very, very soon, and that we can get back to meeting up regularly on our Wednesdays and Saturdays that I used to do for so long. But you know, life just gets crazy. We're trucking along, things are going well. I got some big plans of some stuff coming up in relation to our pigs. I got an update on the garden to give you because some stuff is doing really well, some stuff not so much. So I'll give you some updates on that. And I also got a big announcement about something coming up involving me and another company, and what I'm going to be able to show you in regards to that. So we got several things coming down the pipe, guys. I appreciate your patience. I appreciate your understanding. I hope everybody's doing fantastic. But guys, until then, y'all be good, and we'll see you here very soon on one of our next videos. Y'all be good. Thanks, guys.